Have you ever noticed how some people work incredibly hard, yet still feel underutilized, overlooked, or frustrated? They show up early, stay late, give their best effort, but something is still off. What if the problem isn't their effort, but their placement? Hello, my friends, and welcome to Living the Laws. I'm your host, Larry Laws Sr., and it is truly an honor to have you here with me today for another powerful edition of Wednesday Wisdom Live. This is not just another show. This is your midweek reset, a place where leaders come to sharpen their thinking, strengthen their teams, and make better leadership moves. Today, we're diving into John Maxwell's Law of the Niche, which teaches us this powerful truth. All players have a place where they add value. They have a place where they add the most value. This law is about alignment. It is about fit. And quite frankly, it's about leadership maturity. The law of the niche reminds us that everyone on the team has a unique role. And when people are placed where their strengths shine, the entire organization wins. Great leaders don't try to make everyone the same. They don't focus into roles simply because there is a vacancy. Instead, they ask better questions. What does this person do naturally well? Where do they bring the greatest return on investment? What role allow them to contribute at their highest level? When leaders ignore this law, they don't just lose productivity, they lose people. In my opinion, many leadership failures are not caused by bad people. They're caused by bad placement. Here's the reality. People rarely fail because they lack potential. They fail because they are positioned incorrectly. When someone is operating outside their niche, confidence erodes. Morale drops, performance suffers, and burnout increases. But when someone is operating in their niche, energy increases, ownership rises, creativity flows, excellence becomes consistent. Leadership is not about squeezing performance out of people. Leadership is about unlocking it. Let me bring this to life on the chessboard. In chess, every piece has a specific role. A rook is powerful on open files. A bishop, it dominates long diagonals. A knight thrives in closed positions and tight spaces. Now imagine this. You decide to use a knight like a bishop, expecting it to control long diagonals. Or you place your rook behind locked pawns and wonder why it feels ineffective. Nothing is wrong with the piece. The problem is the position. Strong chess players do not blame the piece. They adjust the placement. Strong leaders do the same. Let me share some leadership insight. Position before permission. One of the biggest leadership mistakes is assigning roles based on availability instead of ability. Loyalty instead of competency. Or better yet, tenure instead of talent. The law of the niche, it demands that leaders move beyond convenience and into international placement. As a leader, you must ask, are people working from their strengths or surviving through their weaknesses? Have I taken the time to truly know my team? Do I adjust roles as people grow? Or do I lock them into outdated positions? Leadership is dynamic, so placement must be dynamic too. A personal leadership reflection. During my military career, I recall a defining moment. Now, this was later in my service when I was promoted to the pay grade of E8, Master Sergeant. At that level, the Army becomes very intentional about placement, not just promotion. Master sergeants who demonstrate the potential to serve as senior advisors at the command level are selected and sent to the first sergeant school. This is not automatic. It is a deliberate decision by the organization to invest in those whose leadership capacity, judgment, and influence extend beyond the technical expertise. Those master sergeants who possesses the capability to serve as the senior enlisted leader or the senior enlisted advisor for a company, where in line units they're often called top. These leaders complete the first sergeant's course and are assigned as first sergeants. In that role, they become the principal enlisted advisor to commanders. Their responsibility they are not only responsible for discipline and standards, but for morale, readiness, mentorship, and development of every soldier in the formation. The Army understands this powerfully. Not every highly skilled professional belongs in the same role. By identifying strengths, leadership, attitude, and influence, the organization places its leaders where they can add the greatest value. That is the law of the niche in action. Here is a leader's questions worth sitting with this week. I'm asking this person to grow. Or am I asking them to pretend? Growth stretches people. Pretending drains them. Great leaders know the difference. Here are 3 practical ways to apply the law of the niche immediately. Audit your team. Look at each person and ask, what do you do exceptionally well without being pushed? Adjust roles, not just expectations. If performance is lagging, consider repositioning before reprimanding. And number 3, let strengths lead the assignment. When possible, design roles around strengths, not job descriptions, especially descriptions written years ago. This is leadership at its highest level. If you want to deepen your leadership foundation and expand your knowledge, I encourage you to get started by taking the leadership assessment on my website and discover your strengths, blind spots, and growth areas. You can find a free leadership assessment tool at larrylaws.com/leadership assessment. Take the leadership assessment today. I want to help you discover your leadership style, define your purpose, and position yourself to leave a lasting legacy. The law of the niche teaches us this simple but powerful truth. When people are placed where they add the most value, everyone wins. So until next time, my friends, stay wise, stay ready, and keep living the laws. I'm Larry Laws Sr., reminding you to think before you move and make your next move your best move.